Elliot, the weekend, take us through, I guess, how it kind of blew out at the end, and what was the plan going in? Do you feel like as a team you ticked off everything you wanted to tick off from your performance going in, and I guess how did it end up at the end? A bit of a blowout.
Didn't get to execute on a few things that we wanted to. It probably shows with the scoreboard as well, but in the last it probably ran out a little bit because we tried a few different things and wanted to try and get the ball forward as much as we could. We were struggling pretty much most of the day with our ball movement, and from that perspective, sometimes when you give up a few opportunities and take some risks, you're gonna get scored against as well. So we kicked some goals, but we probably cost ourselves some goals as well. So there's definitely plenty of learnings coming out of it, but yeah, it was a pretty tough day.
How did you get through? First game, full hit out for a while. How's the body feeling?
Feeling pretty good at the moment, yeah. So good soreness, which you'll take that any day. So yeah, started to cramp a little bit towards the end of the third, but managed to run out the rest of the game, which was pretty good. So yeah, body's feeling great at the moment, and hopefully it continues to stay that way.
What does it do for your confidence? Obviously a really tough couple of years, or particularly last year, but that hit out under your belt now, what does that do for your confidence for the rest of the season?
Massive amounts of confidence, but you get that from pretty much training most of pre-season. So this is probably the first pre-season that I've had in a long time where I've been able to complete it fully. Haven't had any hiccups along the way, minus maybe I rolled my ankle just before Christmas. So nothing really big or anything. So to be able to get through majority of that gives me a lot of confidence before going into the game on the weekend. But yeah, if you can continue to bank a few more games as well, then obviously the stats show that the durability aspect will help you in terms of getting towards the back end of the year.
Messaging from Simo and the rest of the coaches after the game, what was that? There were a lot to like, and then obviously the result didn't go your way. What was the conversations after?
We had a lot of conversations, yeah, but I think the main one that probably pops out is just the fact that we were able to let them transition the ball way too easily. So, and that comes down to our team defence, which was pretty bad, I thought, on the weekend, and it was pretty clear for us coming off the ground that was one of the things that really let us down, and that was probably why, it was hard to get the ball forward. We were pretty much defending a lot of the day, and you don't want to be doing that because when you get the ball, it's tough to try and get it moving going forward as well. So our ball movement probably, was a bit of a cost in that aspect because of it. But yeah, that's probably one of the main crux. I mean, over the couple of years, we've had a few issues where it's been a few other things, but that one was something that really stood out through the day, and that really hurt us.
From a player perspective, positives who kind of came into the squad, anyone new or in the pre-season and the lead up that you thought, played their role really well and was a positive coming out?
Yeah, I thought Harley did really well, just with the amount of pressure, and he continues to get the amount of pressure. But for a young kid that's 18 and just cops a lot, he seems to handle it very, very well. And to be able to perform and execute like he did on the weekend, I thought for his first game, phenomenal effort.
And for the first time in a long, long time, no Luke and no Shannon going out there on the weekend. How did you feel with the new group and that young group in the middle?
Yeah, we're still finding our way. Those boys, Oscar and Dougie, will probably say the same thing. They're trying to find what leadership looks like to them on the field and how they're going to go about it. And there's plenty of things that we as a team and as leaders as well that we need to work on. Luke and Bunga leaving is, they're massive holes. They are massive holes in terms of leadership and being able to perform and role players as well. So we're finding our way, but I guess that's the journey that we're on.
You mentioned Harley before. There was a moment, I think, in the third quarter where he knocked someone down and then Charlie Dixon went after him and the boys got around him. How does it feel to see such a young bloke going around and throwing himself out there?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. So he's got that absolute grunt in him, which is, you can't teach that, but I love it. And he's just a super competitive beast, and he's going to be a phenomenal player going forward for us. And if he continues to bring that along with his other attributes, I'm sure he'll be a fan favourite.
The group made strong starts from the start of the game and then sort of after the half-time break, but sort of faded a little bit. Do you see fitness is a little bit behind where you might be, or do you think that's something you guys are still working towards?
Oh, obviously we're still working towards fitness. We've made some massive inroads in terms of this pre-season compared to other teams, but we've probably got to the benchmark now, especially being over the past couple of years with so many injuries that's probably cost us a fair bit in terms of being able to be fit and run out games. And we've probably got to the benchmark, and now it's a matter of, okay, how can we surpass that and keep going? So 31 degrees on the weekend was certainly pretty hot, but I thought we ran out the game towards the end, but because we tried to change a few things and go a little bit more turbo with our ball movement, at some point that's going to come at a price, and boys end up sort of falling up short, which is, you're going to get that.
Adam mentioned last night on 7 that Gaffy might be going back to the Waffle to find some form. Is that, I guess, a sign that the group's now got some depth, that you can be sending veterans back to the Waffle to give them form?
Yeah, that's certainly a thing where, you could look at and go, there's a bit more depth there, which is great. But yeah, I mean, us as players, we can certainly help out Gaffy and a few other, the forwards especially. So we found it really tough, especially in the midfield, for a lot there to even get our hands on the football. So when you can't do that and we can't feed it out to anyone, those boys on the outside are going to find it very, very hard, or those boys deep down and forward are going to find it very hard to get the football as well. So they're all byproducts of things that we need to get better at and things that we need to work on as well. So it's not just those boys, it's a collective effort that we need to be able to help one another, and like the ball movement obviously we've spoken about, that aspect comes into that as well. So if we can bring those boys into the game, then certainly, and control the football a lot more, I think our possessions were a lot lower than what we usually sort of average.
How's Gaffy going? I mean, he's a proud player. He's been very good for a long time. Obviously, it wasn't the game he would have liked on the weekend. As a senior player yourself, do you wrap your arms around him, and what are those conversations like when a player of his stature doesn't quite go his way?
Yeah, it's tough. It's certainly tough. Yeah, and today he's obviously upset, and that's football. Football's a brutal game. So yeah, he knows that he needs to work on a few things, and to his credit, the whole of the pre-season, I've never seen someone work so hard on his role, and unfortunately on the weekend, as I said, he was a byproduct of us not being able to get our hands on the football and get it back off Port. So you've got to give a credit to them, and he's just a byproduct of just a poor sort of game from pretty much everyone, minus maybe a few. But unfortunately, he's out this week, and he'll hopefully get some more confidence and go back and continue to execute on what he needs to do. And I'm sure because he's such a proud man and he's a competitive animal, he'll be back in a few weeks' time.
The team defence you spoke about, I mean, is it disappointing, or is it just a thing that's going to come with time? Because on paper, your back six is strong, there's a lot of experience there, and it's obviously more youth further up the park. Is that just going to take time to develop that team defence?
Yeah, I think it will take some time. Yeah, I think we certainly need to work on it, but it's a lot clearer this year compared to sort of last year. Last year we're kind of it feels like we're putting out spot fires everywhere. Whereas this year, especially after this game so far, it feels like we were pretty good in some areas, and we sort of held our own, but then in the team defence aspect, in terms of trying to get the ball as forward as we can and keep it in our forward half and lock it in there, we really struggled at. And when you do that, that can certainly cost you in terms of trying to get the ball moving forward, because you don't want to spend all your time defending and use all your energy on that, because when you do get the ball back, you're pretty much cooked and there's not a lot you can do. So unfortunately, we found ourselves in sort of that mode.
How quickly do you fix that? Because you're coming up against GWS, who love that slingshot sort of play. How do you get on top of that leading into that game on Sunday?
Yeah, obviously we have to train it. We need to work a lot more together and be a bit more connected. And what that looks like, I'm sure we'll find ways. But I think it's also having a similar type of group playing together as well. Understanding, it's the subtleties of the game where, players can have that connection, and it gets to a point where it's a look and a wink or a nod or something like that, and everyone's connected and boys can work together. So, it obviously looking back on it, some were, some weren't, and that's probably where we found ourselves in terms of our team defence aspect, where they were able to pull us apart. So we'll continue to work on that, and I'm sure that it will get driven a lot this week. So we're hoping to sort of rectify that coming into the game this week, because, as you said, GWS will, they're in very good form at the moment too, so they'll pull us apart if we go into the game similar to the Port game.
Had a bit of confidence. GWS last year, same round, you had a win. Do you kind of look back on that and say this is what we did in a positive aspect and what we can do coming into this game? Or
you do, but obviously there's different modes and you know under different coaches as well now. So yeah, it's you can take a little bit on it, but then you've also got to look at what they're doing really well at the moment as well, and what's changed and how we can go about it and nullify what they're good at. So yeah, whilst also trying to do and implement what we're trying to work on and how we're going to progress. So yeah, there's a variety of few different things that we'll look at, but that's certainly one of them.